So today, we're going to unpack a story that's actually way bigger than just one company's amazing earnings report. We're going to look at Micron Technology, and through their incredible success, we get to see the actual physical engine that's powering this entire AI revolution.
And it all kicks off with this number, $13.64 billion. That's what Micron pulled in for revenue in just a single quarter. And look, that's not just a good number, it's a completely record-shattering figure that kind of sets the stage for everything else we're about to see.
And here's the view from the very top. The company's CEO, Sanjay Mehrotra, he makes it clear this wasn't some lucky break. This was a total across-the-board victory. Records were broken in literally every single part of their business.
But what's really wild here is just the sheer scale of this jump. We're not talking about small little gains here. We're talking about a 57% leap in revenue in just 1 year. That tells you something fundamental, something huge has just shifted in the market.
And this wasn't just one hot product carrying the team. Nope. Every single segment, from the cloud and mobile all the way to data centers and even cars, hit record revenues. It's like this giant tidal wave of demand just came in and lifted all their boats at once.
So that brings us to the big question, right? What is this engine that's driving all of this crazy growth? Well, as you've probably guessed, the answer is the unstoppable force of artificial intelligence.
And this right here is the crucial point. The whole role of memory has changed. It's not just another part in the machine anymore. In the world of AI, this advanced memory is a strategic asset. It's literally the key that unlocks AI's brain power, and it decides just how smart and how fast these new systems can actually be.
So who's buying all this stuff? The biggest tech companies on the planet. They are right in the middle of this massive multi-year project to build out the data centers that are, for all intents and purposes, the physical brains of AI. And this isn't some short-term fad. It's a huge foundational investment in where all of technology is headed.
So you can think of this whole AI data center build-out as a new gold rush. And if that's the case, then Micron is selling the most important picks and shovels. And there's one tool in particular that absolutely everyone is desperate to get.
And that tool is called High Bandwidth Memory, or HBM for short. So what's the deal with HBM? What is it? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like this. HBM is a super highway for data. If traditional memory is kind of like a 2-lane country road, HBM is a massive 12-lane freeway. It lets an AI processor grab just enormous amounts of data almost instantly, which, as you can imagine, is absolutely essential for those really complex AI tasks.
So just how high is the demand for this data superhighway? Get this, it's so intense that Micron's entire supply for the year 2026 is already sold out. Think about that for a second. Companies have already bought everything they plan on making for next year. It's just gone. And the size of this market, it's just, wow. The forecast now is for the HBM market to hit $100 billion by 2028. And here's the really crazy part. That's 2 years earlier than analysts thought we'd hit that milestone. The growth is just off the charts.
But like any gold rush, this one's got a problem, a big one. There's a huge bottleneck starting to form. And for the entire AI industry, it all comes down to a critical supply crunch.
So on one side, you've got demand just going through the roof from data centers, from the new AI PCs, all needing HBM. But on the other side, you're hitting some real-world walls. It's taking longer to build the super clean factories to make these things. And this is crucial. To make just one HBM chip, you use up the resources that could have made 3 regular memory chips. That is a really tough trade-off to make.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is the CEO himself on the record saying that even with everything they're doing, they just can't make enough to keep all their customers happy. I mean, that's a huge thing for a CEO to admit, and it shows you just how strained things are.
So how in the world do you solve a bottleneck like this? Well, you don't just make small changes. You have to make a massive all-in bet on the future. And that is exactly what Micron is doing.
They're not messing around. They are cranking up their capital spending for fiscal 2026 to $20 billion. This isn't just an investment. It's basically them saying, okay, we're going to solve this supply problem, and we're going to build what's needed for tomorrow.
And that money is going everywhere. It's funding this huge global expansion. I mean, they're speeding things up in Idaho, they're breaking new ground in New York, they're adding capacity in Japan, Singapore, and India. It is a massive, coordinated worldwide push to make more of this stuff as fast as humanly possible. all of this spending, all of this construction, it's all fueled by this incredible confidence in the future. They're still confident, in fact, that they're telling everyone their next quarter's revenue will be yet another record, an absolutely astounding $18.7 billion.
Okay, so we've seen the insane numbers, we've seen the AI engine, the supply bottleneck, and the huge bet they're making on the future. So let's pull it all together. Why does the story of one company's quarter matter so much to the rest of us?
Because what Micron's success really shows us is a fundamental truth about our world right now. The entire AI revolution, everything from those giant data centers to the phone in your pocket, it all runs on these tiny, incredibly complex memory chips. They're the fuel, they're the food, they are the very substance that makes AI possible in the first place.
And that leaves us with one last, kind of provocative thought to chew on. We all know AI is set to change pretty much everything. But as it rewrites our world, could it be that the ultimate speed limit, the one thing holding back its progress, isn't about better software or smarter algorithms, but about our simple physical ability to manufacture enough of these tiny, ridiculously powerful chips? It's a really interesting question to think about.